Hello and welcome to Tap Into the Truth. This is your host, Tim Tapp. We are once again broadcasting from scenic Roane County, Tennessee. And today we're going to take on the topic of the latest conspiracy theory, Obama's third term. But before we get into that, let's go over a few of the items in the news. First of all, on the offbeat, evidently, a new petition has hit the infamous White House petition website requesting that Joe Biden become a reality TV star. Evidently, there's a lot of folks who really enjoy watching Joe Biden, either A, as a fan who thinks his quirky, uncensored, shoot-from-the-hip style is enduring and makes him one of the people, or folks from the other side of the aisle that thinks that he's nothing but a gaffe machine and 24-hour unfettered access by a TV camera would only give you more wonderful gems of Joeisms. Either way, I think that the perception from a reality television show probably suits this administration pretty well. Don't be surprised if we don't see something like that soon. However, the number of signees so far hasn't quite reached a level that would require a, quote, response from the administration. At least not yet. Anyone who wants to sign that petition, well, it is on the White House website. Feel free to go ahead and take a look. Also in the news, Pakistan and India are at it again. Once again, they have traded accusations today of violating the ceasefire in the disputed northern region of Kashmir. The folks over on the Pakistani side says Indian troops had crossed the border in a raid that killed one of its soldiers, and India is charging that the Pakistani shelled and destroyed homes on its side. The accusation of a border crossing resulting in military deaths isn't exactly unusual in this area. The ceasefire has been held there between the two nuclear-armed rivals for decades, but tensions over the disputed region are never really very far from the surface. Keeping in mind that the countries have fought two full-scale wars over the area. Just when you think it's getting safe, right? Also in the news, I find this very interesting, the film Zero Dark 30, a movie that is based on the hunt for Osama bin Laden, supposedly, is raised an eyebrow or two from certain senators, particularly Miss Dianne Feinstein. After all, she is the Senate Intelligence Committee's chairwoman. Some of the question marks regarding this story is what filmmakers were told about interrogations, the fact that the depiction of torture in these interrogations seemed to have upset a few key Democrats, and some question marks about the acting CIA director's meetings with the filmmakers are going to be scrutinized in the upcoming investigation. Bottom line is, Ms. Feinstein expressed outrage over scenes that implied enhanced interrogations of CIA detainees produced a breakthrough in the hunt for Osama bin Laden. The panel has begun a review of contacts between the makers of the film Zero Dark 30 and CIA officials. In the latest controversy surrounding the film, the committee will examine records charting contacts between intelligence officials and the film's director and the screenwriter. Investigators will also be examining whether the spy agency gave the filmmakers inappropriate access to secret materials. They'll also be probing whether CIA personnel are responsible for the portrayal of harsh interrogation practices, and in particular the suggestion that they were effective. The Intelligence Committee's Democrats contend that this is factually incorrect. Zero Dark 30 is, of course, a dramatization based on the hunt for Al-Qaeda's leader, bin Laden, and the May 2011 U.S. Navy SEAL raid, which he was killed. Bottom line is, what are they really concerned about here? It seems to me, based on what's been leaked to this point and what's been set forward, that Dianne Feinstein and the other Democrats on the panel aren't at all upset about what would be deemed inappropriate information being passed from intelligence officials to filmmakers. What they're really upset about is the fact that enhanced interrogation techniques have been shown in here and evidently portrayed as being successful in getting information, therefore doing two things that the Democrats desperately don't want you to know about. Number one, that the occupier of the White House is in fact still utilizing enhanced interrogation techniques. And number two, that occasionally you might get some information that's helpful towards your goal. Heaven forbid that enhanced interrogation techniques might be successful. How about this, Dianne? Why don't you and your little group of cronies get concerned about the fact that CIA operatives and intelligence officials are talking to filmmakers in the first place? If you want a dramatization of these actions, this should be taking place solely within the realm of screenwriters and producers. Let's let Hollywood do Hollywood, and let's let them make whatever movies they want to make, but let's not give up inappropriate access to people, places, and memorandums that should be classified. The CIA is not meant to be a PR firm for the current administration, or for a previous administration, or for an upcoming administration. The CIA is supposed to be in place to provide intelligence for our government to operate in its best interest around the world. It is absolutely asinine, the fact that not only do we have to have an investigation about this, but what the focus is. This isn't much different than Obama's focus when it comes to the Defense Authorization Act. His concern, his reason for threatening a veto there, the fact that he doesn't like limits on how quickly he can release people from Guantanamo. The most conservative estimates for detainees that have been released from Gitmo has been around 30% of them have re-engaged us in the battlefield. That's a very low conservative number. We don't have numbers that support much higher than that, but there certainly are reports that they are higher. And in this case, the concern of Ms. Feinstein and her associates isn't that information was shared. After all, this was obviously part of the re-election campaign, after all. The concern is in them showing that we're still using these techniques that they've demonized at every turn, claimed that W was a heinous evil creature and monster from an archaic time for allowing them to be used in the first place. We called them torture because they didn't fit with their image of America. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's still going on. The people who promised to put an end to it not only didn't put an end to it, they're still using it. And they're using it to their betterment. They're using it to spike the football. They're using it to say, look what we did that the other guys couldn't. Are they that upset that they actually put on film the fact that these techniques are still being used? Or are they even more so upset that it's being portrayed as something that's successful in garnering information? After all, that's always been the argument against torture of any kind, isn't it? It's always unreliable. you can't count on the information? If that's the case, why would they still be using it? Why didn't they put an end immediately? Well, for the very same reason that the occupier didn't keep his campaign promise of closing Gitmo. Why isn't Gitmo closed, ladies and gentlemen? Because there are people being detained down there that only want to kill Americans. They don't want to make any kind of distinctions about what kind of an American you are. They don't care what color you are. They don't care what your national background is as far as your historical background, as far as your heritage. They don't care if you're a daughter of the Confederacy or if you are a Haitian immigrant 3 generations in. They don't care. If you're an American now, they want to kill you. Why? Because you're an American. That makes you the enemy. Those are the people that are at Gitmo, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the people who are being held there. These are not nice people. These are not people that you can let them jump rope, hold hands, sing Kumbaya, have them shoot some hoops, let them get brand new Qurans every month and give them a fresh prayer rug every day and pretend like they're going to be happy and reformed and realize, oh, you Americans aren't so bad after all. That's not going to happen. These people are there because they are a threat. Even the occupier realizes that, or else he would move ahead, because he certainly ignored laws, precedent, constitutional limitations, and other opportunities. He's in the attempt to do that very thing every single day. Our Constitution is under attack every single day. We have already documented several instances of the First and Second Amendments under attack, and now the 14th and 22nd Amendments are under attack. And it's time to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. They're not done. They won't be done till the Constitution has been ripped to shreds. If there was only a single copy of it, I promise you it would have disappeared by now. These people are not interested in limited government. These people are full on with the so-called progressive agenda, and they're looking to enslave Americans in one fashion or another. They'll never use those words. Well, of course not. If they did, you might try to stop them. The worst part is some of them in their own minds don't even understand the dangers of what they're doing. They think that they're trying to help. It's either for the children or it's for whoever. That's what the gun control legislation that's coming through is focused at. It's for the children. Ladies and gentlemen, the children are better served when their parents are in a position to be able to defend them. The children of this country are safer when we apply common sense to situations rather than trying to overregulate. I saw this thing today, which was a fake news story. It was intended to be a joke. But what makes it funny is there's a lot of truth to it. The fake headline said, "Leading cause of teenage death in America, drowning. Conservative solution, hiring additional lifeguards and